All right. Super excited to have this conversation because the Community Foundation is such a powerhouse in this community. And there's so many people that don't know who you are and what you do. So let's start there. You've been serving the community since 1952. Who is the Community Foundation?
So true. We get this question all the time.
Yeah.
We've been around since 1952. And I think a lot of people out there still just don't really understand what a community foundation is. So community foundations exist all over the country. So it's not just something that's specific to our area. And they're unique because they serve specific areas. So in our case, in our name, Herkimer and Oneida counties is our focus area, 315.
Yep.
And so the Community Foundation has many roles. And I think in my mind, the top three things that our community foundation is focused on and strives for is, making sure that our entire community and our two counties have everything that they need to thrive and be vibrant. So that's part of our mission, part of our vision. And on top of that, further is, making sure that all of the nonprofits in the two counties are healthy and that we have, a really healthy nonprofit ecosystem. And I think getting into kind of Nick's world of development is we want to make sure that residents and businesses, families that live here, that work here, and that care about the region have an outlet to support the community. And so that's where the Community Foundation comes in. And we have, products and services and multitude of different ways to support this region.
So layman's terms, you're a nonprofit,
Yep.
501c3, and you're almost like a parent company to all the nonprofits.
I think the best way it could be described, the way I describe it to people who aren't familiar, is we're really like a charitable financial services.
Yep.
So we help business owners, families, individuals, even local attorneys who have like estates that they're managing or trust. We help them set up the charitable fund into a structure so they're not doing it on their own. Because anybody can set up their own private foundation. But I think if you ask folks who do have a private foundation about running that, it's another responsibility. It's a big obligation.
It's a business.
It's a corporation.
Yeah.
So the Community Foundation is a way that you can do that through a parent company. So that's a good way to describe it, where we're only as good as our customers. So we can only do the work that we do in the community because people have put their charitable dollars into a fund. The fund is their fund, and then our team wraps our services around them to help them give that money to the nonprofits they care about.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what the heck they want to do
Right.
with the money. So that's where they really take advantage of working through a partner because, again, we're here almost 75 years. We have a professional staff of over 24 people, and our day-to-day job is to understand what the needs are in the community, what nonprofits are doing good work, what nonprofits are doing work that's immeasurable. Because, a lot of people want to know what are the outcomes, what happens, how many people are served. There's sometimes the answer is we have no idea. We just know that without this organization, we would see a gap in our area, and we need them to be, again, operational. So you guys know better than most. We have a huge sector of our economy in our community is not-for-profit organizations. So we have over 1,400 not-for-profits.
Wow.
They employ, I can't recall off the top of my head the percentage. Maybe you can edit it in later, but it's a very significant portion of our employment base in our region. So one way nonprofits can, again, create a funding stream is through private donations. And that's where the Community Foundation acts as an intermediary, but a very active intermediary. We're not passive in any part of our operation. So hopefully that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But
It's a great answer, Nick. I feel like you've said that before.
a couple times.
It's crazy. There are a lot of people out there that don't even know of local charities. They don't.
True.
They look for a local charity to donate to, like with our Putts for Purpose. That
Yep.
we have a lot of people that come to us and they're like, "Well, I don't know of any local charities." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to
Yep.
me." You know, so that's amazing. Do we want to talk about Mohawk Valley Gives Back?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's kind of the elephant in the room.
Okay.
And
I think
it's
it'll
really-
spark a lot of other
yeah,
conversations.
Yeah.
It ties into everything the Community Foundation does with our fund holders as well, because even though it's a big focal point, it's a big celebration in September, this thing is a year-round program, even though it might have a little bit of a quiet season. But this is Kayla's baby, so I'm going to let her.
It is. It is.
Her
4-year-old?
4 years.
4-year-old baby?
So this year, 2025, is the 4th year of Mohawk Valley Gives. Super exciting. And it gets to your point as well. Like, a lot of people don't know about all of the area nonprofits that there are. And so through Mohawk Valley Gives, it's giving all of those organizations this exposure that they never had. So it's kind of a learning opportunity for the community as well to not only donate, but learn about organizations that they didn't even know existed. So yeah, started in 2022. So it was right off of the pandemic. So I started at the Community Foundation in 2018, and we had been talking about the concept of a giving day for the longest time. We just really didn't have the resources. We didn't know if it was the right time to kind of start something like that. But after 2020, everything changed. And, there were a couple years there where a lot of organizations weren't doing fundraisers. They lost a lot of dollars during that time.
Sure.
So in 2022, it was the foundation's 70th anniversary. We wanted to do something different. And also it seemed so timely because why not put on a huge community-wide giving day where everyone can kind of rally around all of these different nonprofits? Had no idea what we were stepping into, to be honest. And it was a huge hit. Yeah. I mean, we didn't know how the nonprofits would react. Would they feel that, we were stepping on toes by putting on a fundraising event when they already do their own thing? And that wasn't the reaction we got in any way.
Prior to that, historically, had you not done fundraising events?
We were very quiet behind the scenes.
Okay.
Just helping out our customers,
looking
our fund
for
holders,
the philanthropists.
Our team would do our research like we still do to this day and find out. We would call and do site visits of all the nonprofits and say, what are you doing? What programs do you have? What funding needs? And we would take those back to our fund holders, into our board, and we would make some funding decisions. And so again, we're still doing similar work today, but we've never had this type of forward-facing, visible platform where we're really the driving force. And again, with our partners, the Up Mobility Foundation and all of the sponsors that are able to underwrite the cost of MV Gives to make it free, which is, again, one of the huge selling points for the nonprofits and I think for the donor community is that when you put on a golf tournament, there's a huge cost of putting on that tournament, and you're netting hopefully some dollars, but it's not a
all for profit.
a $0 cost per dollar
God,
raise.
no. Yeah.
Mohawk Valley Gives is truly a $0 cost per dollar raise program, which is huge because that means 100% of those dollars go right to the nonprofits. It's deposited in real time into their bank accounts. So donors who are suspicious, maybe is a word I could use, that
Sure.
When you give to charities, you're always like, well, they have all this big overhead and all these costs. We wanted to work, and Kayla and her team really made very conscious decisions and efforts to take away all those objections. So again, this platform is one size fits all, whether you're a small animal organization or a huge hospital system or university. Any of those groups can participate in MV Gives and still find an outcome, find an audience. And then Kayla will talk more, I'm sure, in a little bit about the prizes and bonuses and incentives. But that's been the driving force to see the numbers increase as they have over these 3 years.
Yeah, that's awesome because, we are a special community in that we are, in the words of one of our, who was it? It was JP Kidwell, who said that Mohawk Valley is fiercely loyal about being from the Mohawk Valley.
Exactly.
And it's
Sounds like something JP.
So that's right. He's running for the board now.
I think he won the board.
Oh, he already won.
Yeah,
I can tell how.
He took his signs down. I'm sure JP will be listening. He'll let me know.
But the point being is not only 100% of the money goes to the charity, but it stays local.
It does.
Yeah,
and
which is huge.
Those dollars too, they're unrestricted. So they're not for a specific purpose. Though that nonprofit that raised those funds can then take those dollars and use it for whatever their nonprofit needs. Any expenses, any events they're trying to do, programming. So that's different from, a grant that's specific.
It's really
to,
hard. We've heard from nonprofits for years say, we have funding for these programs, but we don't have money that we have flexibility to use on other things that we're trying to do. So raising unrestricted dollars is really, really difficult. So this was one of the conscious strategies that Mohawk Valley Gives has brought forward, that nonprofits are just asking, give to us. who knows better than what we need these dollars for than us and our board and our leadership. And we've seen the donors respond to that. And I think that with now a few years under our belt, the reporting back to donors, because that's a huge missing part. And that's something that we stress as part of MV Gives. When's the last time you guys made a contribution and you never heard anything back from a nonprofit?
Like every
and
time.
It's frustrating.
All the time.
And I have two camps of thought there. One is they're just so focused on their mission that they're just their heads down, running through the wall, getting things done, and they just didn't have the time. I give them the benefit of the doubt, and I say that's usually the way I can kind of
Justify it. Yeah.
But the other side is a small amount of effort to just thank somebody. Maybe 3-6 weeks after you made the gift, you probably forgot about it. Imagine if you got a postcard or a call, a handwritten note saying, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of you guys. You guys thought of us. I appreciate it.
On a super small scale, Nick, just to bring your point to light, if I donate to a Little League organization or the CVA Drama Club is really good at this. After the season, after the event, I will get that postcard of like, here's all the kids in the play, had a blast, couldn't have been possible without you. Here's the picture of the team wearing, your jersey that, and it does. When that solicitation comes the next year, you're like, I'm here.
Exactly.
They're already buttering you up. That's stewardship. And again, whether you're a nonprofit stewarding donors for retention, because again, it's easier to retain a customer than get a new customer. So once somebody goes out of their way to make a gift, to do that action, that should be a lifelong relationship. I'm sure, again, there's a lot of themes that are similar in your line of your professional lives. So we want to give the nonprofits kind of a toolkit, and that's part of the platform to, again, report back, thank donors, acknowledge the donations, all the things that, whether, again, you're the major hospital system with a fully staffed development office or a fully volunteered Rotary Club who's just trying to build the community garden, it's the same principles. It's the same actions. And they work. We see it behind the scenes. The numbers don't lie.
I think I'll just add one more thing to what Nick said. So it's really, Mohawk Valley Gives has leveled the playing field, in my opinion, because, we've got this year almost 390 nonprofits signed on to participate, and they range from, extra small organizations who are all volunteer run. They might even have one volunteer in some cases. And then large organizations who have, staffs of, in some cases, over 100 people. And just being able to see what those different organizations are doing. We've seen smaller nonprofits who are like, we tried this last year and, I think we're going to tweak it for this year and try this. It's just very inspiring to see nonprofits of all different kind of walks of life doing their thing.
So let's go there. That was my question around logistics. Kind of two questions here. As I write down 390 nonprofits, why would a nonprofit not want to be a part of it?
We ask that all the time.
You're wondering the same thing? Okay.
We're biased. We're looking through the rose-colored glasses. We don't know the answer to that.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe ask them.
All right. So the bigger question is, if I'm a donor, do I get to select who the recipient is?
You absolutely can. So the website is givemv.org, and a donor can actually go on there, browse all of the different nonprofits. They are grouped by category. So if you're interested in the arts or, sports and recreation, they're all broken out, the nonprofits. And there's a shopping cart feature. So you can give to multiple organizations at all varying levels in just one transaction. So
that's awesome.
Makes it really simple on the donor end. And then, you get your email, tax receipt. It's all bundled up nice.
Is there any sort of guarantee if I'm one of the 390 and no one picks me, like I'm the kid that didn't get picked in
I think we knock on wood, we got a good
good track record.
Every single organization so far that's ever participated since day one has gotten a gift on that day.
That's
so
awesome.
Their time investment has seen a return on investment.
Yeah.
Because my guess is you probably get some donors who are like, hey, whoever needs it most.
True. They might look at the leaderboard and see down below who hasn't raised as much. Yeah. And the other important piece is, you get out what you put in. Yep. So the nonprofits who are really out there kind of pounding the pavement and talking about it are, getting the most out of it. And I think year over year, organizations are kind of latching on to that. Oh, if I do this small thing, I might raise a little bit more next year. So
the platform itself has great functionality for like embedded videos and testimonials, and they can really build their case. obviously social media is essential now for any sort of outreach campaign. We've seen nonprofits get very creative with how they started to weave in MV Gives, even starting now all the way through September, mentioning MV Gives because they know in September, Mohawk Valley Gives is a way for them to, one, raise that unrestricted dollars directly from their donors, but two, the fun part of MV Gives and the leverage, the reason why somebody would wake up on September 19th and say, you know what, I think it's a giving day. Nobody's just going to say, I'm going to give some money away today. Maybe they won't. They should. I really should every day.
Well, because some people say, like, I gotta be better about doing that. I've got to, and this gives them.
This gives them a reason. And you know why? Because we have that day, our team from probably even after last year's program ended, but really starting in January or February this year, we've worked with our internal fund holders, some of those big relationships that we have, and then with our corporate community to build up pools of matching dollars. So that's
huge.
trick to make MV Gives work because the leverage. So there's fun. It's a fun day. It's meant to be fun. Yeah. It's not a day. I mean, I hope again to be proven wrong, but it's not a day you're going to have a $5 million gift all of a sudden fall in your lap. That's a whole different strategy. Yeah. This is really for people to say, you know what, I can give $50 to 5 organizations, and then if that $50 gets matched because the organizations I'm supporting have a bonus through the community foundation, my $50 turns into $100. Right. My $250 turns into $500. And that's real. That's how that's the gamification. Somebody described MV Gives as gamification of charitable giving. Yeah. I love that. I think that's a great way to energize younger people and people who really maybe don't have a
lot of money, right?
But every gift, I mean, again, I know it sounds like something you should say, but like truly, and if you ask any nonprofit leader, the major donors all started at $10, $15, $20 gift. Oh. Nobody's first check is ever that huge check. It's a lifelong relationship that builds. So every $25 donor is an acquisition that is invaluable to the success of your organization going forward.
Well, here's, I'm sure you guys are brilliant and you've got a team of dozens, so you've probably figured this out. But here, as a small business owner, I'm thinking this could be a fun office building, office culture kind of thing where, maybe we used to do like a bowling tournament where we would, or not a tournament, but just a bowling event. Yeah. And we would ask everyone to bring X number of dollars and, we paid for the bowling and whatever was extra. And so like as a team, maybe you can set this up as something where, the team gets together, does something for a good cause, and then the company writes that matching check and then it all goes to you on the 19th.
Yeah, one of our longtime fund holders, and I've known the owner of this business for years, and I don't think he wants it to be external because it's not about him. It was something this year for MV Gives. He said from earlier this spring up until September 19th, any payroll deduction that his staff gives to the charitable fund that they set up for the company, he's going to match dollar for dollar and then let the staff give it away on MV Gives Day.
That's awesome.
They're going to decide who gets it, but he's going to double personally all of the donations they give. So something like that, it's good for morale building. It's good for team building, but it's just fun. And honestly, on the other side, I hope the businesses who get involved with MV Gives look at it as good publicity opportunity.
Absolutely.
For sure. It separates you from your
100%.
Your other businesses.
It's just, in my mind, look at, if you watch any of our local news broadcasts on the ad breaks, every commercial is it's not about the company's product or how many cars a dealership's selling. It's how much money they've given away to this campaign, how much money they give away to animals, how much money they give away to kids. So I think philanthropy is an undervalued part of a marketing plan for small business because it sets you apart. And I think people in our community, because as you said earlier, we have such a unique and generous community, I think it resonates with them. And if they're looking at 5 organizations, the one that they see that maybe the Mohawk Valley Gives prize is going to set you apart. That's why they're going to come and call you to say, you know what, I need some help. And that's what I'm hoping. That's the story I'm trying to tell. Maybe prove me right or wrong.
So over $8 million raised in 3 years. That's a crazy number. That's a crazy number in 3 years. What kind of impact are you seeing that this money creates for local nonprofits? I'm sure that the nonprofits are really good about sharing with you. Oh my God, this is what you guys were able to help us achieve.
They're over the moon. In year 1, there was Western Town Library, I think it was. They rallied their board. They were, again, pounding the pavement. They were out there, at all different local businesses, they had a match from their board, and they utilized that to raise money for their playground So that was like a success story that
Yeah,
stuck
that's,
with me.
That's huge.
And in some cases, again, MV Gives is giving them the opportunity to put on programming, maybe events and different things that they may not otherwise have the means to do. So it's kind of making dreams come true, I think, in some ways for nonprofits. And one thing we haven't mentioned that is so important is Mohawk Valley Gives is giving these nonprofits, training and practice in fundraising. So last year in August, we put on an event called Mohawk Valley Gives University for all of the 300 plus organizations that were participating. And it was, teaching them about marketing, about matches, about how to talk to your donors, stewardship after the fact. So they're learning through this process. We're learning with them as well, but it's so much more than just the dollars. I think that
it's the education on
the
how to
education
build
that's coming out of this.
A good nonprofit.
That they can use year round. It's not just in September on the giving day.
The old, teach the fish instead of give the fish analogy.
Exactly.
But I want to take the opportunity to emphasize that $8 million, and that's real money. That's moving around the community.
Yeah.
That's not pledged dollars that are uncollectible. Like those are transactions, but even more impressive, we're up to almost 20,000 donors.
Yep.
Which I think, again, if you do the math, you're not seeing a $3 or $4 million gift that's completely skewing those numbers. I mean, those are all very modestly sized donations that have accumulated because, again, it's kind of everybody pulling
together.
So full transparency. That's what you're going to get from me, right? You talk about those $3-4 million donations, but way back years ago when I thought community foundation, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was your, I'll throw out some names that like the FX Mats, the Carbones, the big businesses, people that are worth, millions of dollars that they, at the end, they go, hey, where do we put our money? We give to the community foundation. That might be totally wrong. I'm sure there's still high, wealth people who do that. But the point is, this levels the playing field. Like this day is your average person. Yeah. Right, who wants to make an impact and step up and say, hey, and then at the end be like, hey, together we did this, couple million, $2-3 million with these little pledges. And 20,000, by the way, how many people live in Oneida County?
Yeah, like we got 240,000.
Yeah, so 10%. It's a wild number that you have that many donors.
Yeah, our organization certainly has evolved over time, and we still have really deep relationships with some of the very notable families who have kind of given back to the area generationally. And what we've made, again, strategized around and made efforts, and we're continuing. And this is, again, one of those learning experiences where we really need to engage the next generation of givers, and not just age-wise, just people who haven't worked with the community foundation. We want to learn why. Maybe it is that connotation that you have to be like have a
high
wealth in your net
worth,
and you have to be a member of all the private clubs to even think of having a fund, and that's completely not true. Right. Our team, our board, and our team has launched funds now where you can actually set up your own family charitable fund with $0. So you can set it up just like people set up like with the college savings account for their kids, a Roth IRA, your retirement accounts. We want people to start putting a charitable fund into that kind of list of financial planning tools. Yeah. Because if you're a busy person, or if you're not even busy and you're just lazy like me, you can use us to be kind of your back office. You can still get the outcomes you're trying to accomplish. You can give to your kid's school, your alma mater, the zoo, the library. But instead of you writing a bunch of checks and chasing down a bunch of receipts, why not use the community foundation as your platform? It's all on your phone now. Everything is digitalized, so it's very easy and accessible, and you don't need that $50,000 to set an endowment. Maybe that's what it was the first few decades of the community foundation, but now because of the generosity of people who have gotten us to this point, now we're able to offer all of those services to the community at large. And again, Mohawk Valley Gives, I'm not telling any secrets, is a great acquisition tool for us too, because it's making people see our brand and get curious and ask those questions. And we've yielded some wonderful new relationships just in the past 3 years with MV Gives, and I think that's going to continue.
No, it's brilliant because how many high wealth people are there right now
in our area,
but the future high wealth people, right? And so you're casting a wider net. I want to kind of nerd out a little bit on what you just talked about there, Nick. So this is something we've talked about now that we're steamrolling towards 50, but it's like that second half and legacy
Legacy is
and
a huge conversation.
the kids obviously are in college now, and that's sucking up a lot of money. But after that, it's like, what do we do with our money, right? Like we both grew up very poor. We came from nothing. We're building something, and we want to leave our kids okay, but we also want to do some other stuff. Yeah. So that's all to say, a 501c3 is a beast, right? I mean, you need an attorney, you need an accountant, you've got to file all the paperwork. It's a lot. So if us, right, the Greats family wants to start something that becomes, an endowment, right? Something that 100 years from now is still going. Yep. How do I go about that? Like, do we pick like specific, like, this is
you're talking our language now. This is honestly, we
these are the conversations.
This is what he does every day.
This is every day. This is exciting because the nice thing with how the charitable funds work is you don't have to define anything unless you want to. So some people walk in knowing exactly what they want to do. They know they love animals more than anything, and they only want to give their hard-earned money to animals. Mm-hmm. Great. We can build that right into that fund contract and say these dollars will never be used for anything except animals. Most donors, on the other hand, is probably similar to what you would look at would be, don't handcuff yourself to something because you may want to change your mind in the future. So we have the kind of phrase, the catch-all is general charitable purposes. So basically any charitable cause, locally, nationally, you can make a contribution from the Greats Family Fund. It would be, the two ways to look at it is there's money in and money out. And this is how we always simplify it. And I describe it to my mom, who doesn't know what I do for a job still to this day. But the money in is really important because, like I said, as you're building this amazing kind of infrastructure that you guys have going, you're going to maybe in some years have some tax consequences that you can plan around. So the beauty and what people should be thinking about when it comes to setting up a charitable fund, and this is, again, where I geek out, I like this stuff, is maximizing your taxes. I think that people kind of shy away from talking about their benefits when it comes to giving money away. But if you look at any mega donor, the reason they're giving money away starts with the tax situation and then maybe ends with the cause and the outcome. Right. And hopefully a combination of both. Sure. But families, again, regardless of income, the one way, if you are a non-itemizer, that you can get yourself up over that itemization limit that's currently in place is giving to charity, because you can write off dollar for dollar everything you give to charity. So if you have a year where you want to make sure you can, again, itemize your taxes, put $5,000 or $10,000 into your donor advised fund and then use that over the next 10 years. So don't come out of pocket again for 9 more years, but in year one, you'll have gotten the full bang for your buck. You'll be able to write it all off. Maybe you've given some appreciated asset that you were going to pay capital gains tax on. There's so many creative ways to do your funding, to get your money into your fund over time. And then the good part, the exciting part is then spending the money. Giving it to the charities. I mean, the whole point of that money is it's meant to be used. So set up your scholarship, set up your Little League sponsorship, do all the things you're probably doing out of pocket for
anyway.
Now. Do it out of your fund, because then you're maximizing that tax event. And people need to think that way.
We've been doing it wrong, Scott.
We've been wrong. We've been doing it all correct. You. I knew that was what you were going to say.
I mean, we're givers, but we need to give with you guys.
I think you'd be surprised if you lined it all up in 1 year and look at it in 3-year increments, because that's what they call it, bunching. So if you bunch 3 years into year one to deposit, you're going to walk away with the same outcome, but probably with a little bit better personal benefit on the onset.
The universe sent us Nick for a reason.
I know. So Scott sets up a fund. Like hypothetically, Scott sets up a fund, and then it's so funny because daily we have people that walk in the office for
multiple times,
multiple times for great causes. So instead of Scott writing them the check, they get a hold of you.
Text Nick or Kayla, text our team,
and then that comes out of the fund,
and we send the check from the Greats Family Fund. And then it's fulfilled. We do all your receipting.
We've just had an aha moment here.
People go, how do you monetize the podcast? And we're like, we don't. We do it because we're passionate about it. But Nick probably just saved us like 6 figures.
Use it as honorariums for people who come on the podcast. Give $50 to their favorite charity in their honor. Do it for staff for birthdays. Like we have a lot of business owners, and we're not talking about the mega businesses. We're talking about very modest, hardworking small business owners who use it as kind of an employee incentive tool. And when they say, you know what, don't give me anything for my birthday, but make a gift to my family fund.
That's huge.
Because donations can go to any and all sources, and then you can use it.
The other thing too, and I'll give sort of a personal plug, being in the insurance space, but leveraging life insurance.
You got it.
This is something where obviously we have 3 kids, we have a lot of debt, and we have a lot of life insurance, and the hope is that the kids turn out okay, we end up debt free, we live long, healthy lives, and then who gets the money? Like, we still want to leave it to the kids, but if you have this fund set up, I mean, you could presumably leave hundreds or even millions of dollars through tax-free life insurance through your fund that becomes a legacy.
And there's tax incentives if you assign a life insurance policy to a charitable fund. It's not going to yield anything right away as far as hopefully that life insurance isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But when you irrevocably gift that to your fund, you're going to get a benefit up front too, based on your age and the face value of that policy. So there's, again, it's a whole industry. Charitable giving, I think we start with a very small, I'm going to give a check to my librry, and then all of a sudden it turns into signing life insurance. All of a sudden,
we did get pretty deep there.
This is a great conversation because it applies to so many people.
A lot of people
every
just
person,
don't know.
every person, whether it's that small little check or whatever you're giving to business owners that probably didn't even realize this is something that they should be doing, and it makes so much sense.
At least look at it. That's all we say. Just hear us out, and we're not salespeople. We're here when you need us.
For every person, it could be different.
Last thing on the nerdy tech stuff, and then we'll move on to simpler stuff for the audience. But if you are someone who doesn't own a business, but you're charitable, like my mother's always given checks to this and checks to that, and and I'm not an accountant, but if you're in a 25% tax bracket and you go down to 20%, like that could be because of your charitable donations. It could actually
drop yourself down.
If you're
on the kind of teetering. I mean, people of a certain age, when they have to start taking RMDs from their retirement accounts, sometimes they don't need that personal income. Maybe they have a pension. Maybe they have some other assets. The one way they don't have to take an RMD is to direct it to a charity, and it turns into a qualified charitable distribution, and it solves a lot of, again, it's not a bad problem to have to take income, but if you have to pay taxes on it, you really don't need it, and you're charitable anyway, use your retirement account, and we will help you with that as well.
I said we were going to simplify it. Nick went to RMDs, right? So now we're
no idea
required minimum distribution. For those, this is every.
Kayla and I just keep looking at each other. This all sounds really good.
For those over 70 and a half.
We got the guys
This is why I brought him, because I wouldn't have been able to answer that question.
I'm not getting invited back.
All right, let's take it down to a simple form. So, it is September 9th. This is ignorant on my part. September 19th, is that a national day or is that a you day?
It's an R day.
It is. Okay.
Yep, so
why September? I'm guessing that was strategic.
Well, kind of, sort of.
Think about the cycle of the year. We fortunately had a vendor who helped us kind of do some research when we were planning this giving day, because they facilitate giving days for a lot of clients. So they saw, usually you don't want a giving day too close to the holidays because, money's going one direction. And plus, that's usually the annual appeal season anyway, Thanksgiving to the end of the year. Summertime, you can't get anybody's attention, and that's for good reasons. Everybody should be enjoying this while they can. Graduation season, you can kind of keep working your way back. So September was a kind of a period where it's back to school. So everybody's going back to school early September. Everybody's like,
back to business,
back to normal, get up into a routine. And there aren't a lot of events going on because it's summer season. It's pre-gala season in the winter, so it's really that kind of gap. So it seemed to be a quieter part of the year.
Yeah.
And the biggest, most important thing is it's a time when nonprofits were not raising money before. It was a really slow period for organizations to do any sort of fundraising, and that's when actually the expenses start mounting because they're usually getting into the end of their fiscal or calendar year. So it turned into... That was a little nudge that, do it in March or do it in September, I think.
Yeah, we had two options.
And we just thought, I don't know, maybe just because it made our lives easier and it gave us more time. Then we picked September, and again, maybe March would have worked better. Who knows? But I don't know. We're pretty happy with the outcomes.
Yeah, it's been great. September 20th was actually the date for the first 3 years. We had a good run of it was becoming that day, but now this year, September 20th is on a Saturday. So we've shifted to the 19th and the third Friday going forward.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Strategic around payday too.
Yeah,
right?
on
End of
Friday. Exactly.
I mean, we maybe have a happy hour concept of this after the workday on a Friday.
Yeah, let's talk about. Well, let's not talk about happy. Well, we can, but incentives and prizes. You alluded to it, but we never got to it. So.
Yeah. So all throughout the day, and even before and after the giving day, we have a pool of prizes. So those prizes are funded through local businesses, sponsors, some community foundation fund holders, the community foundation itself, and those prizes there's a whole slew of them, and they have all different criteria that nonprofits can win, essentially. So these are cash prizes. They're not like physical, like gift cards or anything like that. So cash prizes that ultimately add to their total on the giving day. So a lot of them are random. Some of them are place-based. So we've got a team behind the scenes on the giving day working, they've got their prize wheel up, and they're just putting all of the nonprofits' names into that prize category who are eligible. And then we're making announcements all throughout the day on Facebook Live. It's just really fun. It adds that, excitement.
You want to give an example of one of the time challenges?
The time challenges, yeah. So, I mean, we've got ones that are, I think we called it like a, lunch break power hour. And so, like, any nonprofit that received a donation between, like, the noon and 1 o'clock hour of the day were all entered into a, random drawing to win $250.
Yep.
So, really cool. And there's a whole page on the givemv.org site that lists out those prizes and with the sponsor logo right next to it. So it's nice.
Good visibility.
Yeah.
And we have some sponsors that have, instead of dollar for dollar, because sometimes one big donor can swoop in and say, there goes the $1,000 match. Right. The intention is really more to draw some participation. So we have some donors who have said, you know what, any organization that gets 10 new donors, we're going to give $1,000. So 10 $5 donors could get them $1,000 bonus. And that's how the game is played. And that's really kind of boosted those numbers for us.
So let's say that there are people that are listening right now that are like, why am I not part of these 390, non-for-profits? How do they go about getting into this event?
So registration just closed in May. In May. Yep, we wrapped up.
How do they get in next year?
Yeah, well, that's what
next year.
Yeah.
For next year, registration typically takes place in the May timeframe, usually the month of May. And it's simple. You just go to givemv.org. You fill out a registration survey. If an org has participated in the past, they can literally just copy over their profile from the previous year. It's simple. It's just you fill out the form. It's free, like Nick said.
Have to be a 501c3?
Have to be a 501c3.
Or have a fiscal sponsor.
Okay.
Or be a school or under a governmental entity. So
Gotcha.
basically anything short of a for-profit business.
Okay.
I guess that's probably an easier way to describe it.
What about civic organizations like a Rotary or a Kiwanis? Would they?
Membership organizations are a little tricky. And again, not our rules. We have to
that's
follow
fine.
them. But if they're going to raise funds, it has to be for public benefit. So like Rotaries participate to build the community garden, but it can't just be something for their membership.
Gotcha.
Same thing, Chambers of Commerce, and we work closely with all of our local chambers, and they're always looking at putting on public events with the dollars that they're able to raise.
Cool.
But good question. That's definitely something to keep in mind.
Well, this was fun.
This was really fun. It was like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, that's most things that we do. For better peaks and valleys.
Once you're in here, it's like once you're on, you can't get off.
Yep.
Once you walked into this room.
It's Hotel California.
But no, all kidding aside, what you're doing is amazing. And, I'm glad that we're able to debunk some of the misconceptions or misunderstandings around what the Community Foundation is, self-included, and just how the average person, I hate to use that, but I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah.
Like most of us listening consider ourselves as average people,
Yep.
and how we can make a difference, because this is a very giving community, as you know,
Yep.
and they're able to leverage that. And if we can create win-wins, right, where the donor and the recipient win, I mean, what is better than that?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
We end all these with some rapid fire questions.
Ooh, fun.
Let's see how we did.
Okay. Most inspiring moment from a past Mohawk Valley Gives.
First year, we had a young lady who, we're talking 8 or 9 year old young local girl who made her own dog treats, sold them at a farmer's market, and took that money in to donate to one of the animal shelters that participate in MV Gives.
That's awesome.
And that one stuck with me. That was year one. It's like, okay.
Tell that story live. Tell that story live and ask for matching donations. That's who says no to that?
Guilt people into it at the very least. Yep. But that one's mine so far.
Mine is very similar to yours, Nick. And I actually think this gets back to the Western Town Library. I don't know how I missed this piece, but I remember them telling me that they had a little boy come in with, I think, like $1 and change. And he wanted to give it to them towards Mohawk Valley Gives
to build their
playground.
Yeah.
And it was just,
that's awesome.
That's it. That's what we want to do.
I know. And that's a nice shift from us talking about RMDs, estate planning, and offsetting
our
tax
retirement
brackets.
and life insurance.
Here's this kid with $1.50. Like, I just want to do it for the right reason.
That's all the how. But let's talk more about the why. That's the why. The why is the compelling part.
Yep.
That kid will want a tax break in the future. I promise. Not this year, but all right. One word to describe the community's giving spirit.
Magical.
Yeah, incredible.
Great.
Best piece of advice for someone considering their first major gift.
It's not one word anymore that we're limited to, right?
Right. No, best piece of advice.
Even if you're not going to work through us, come talk to us. Okay. We can give you things to think about, best practices to avoid. We have 75 years of experience helping families and people accomplish major gifts. At least come in. We're not bad people.
No, obviously.
Well, and it's what you do. It's what you do at a high level. And I'll ask a follow-up question to that. So if someone doesn't have like an estate planner or an attorney, I'm guessing you can make introductions.
We don't do referrals because we're everybody's friend.
Right.
But we have materials that we can provide that then they can then go seek some counsel on.
Gotcha.
Templates, contracts that we use that are legally approved on our side. But it's I mean, you never walk in and just buy a card sight unseen. Yep. I mean, come in and talk.
Yep.
We can at least give you some warning about questions to ask that you probably haven't asked yet.
I think I'd say there's nothing too big, nothing too small.
No.
Anything that you can give, I think, is worthy of giving.
Yep.
What's the goal for September 19th, 2025?
Oh, I knew this was going to come up.
I'm not going on the record for this.
We've tossed
Nick
out a
talked
couple
the whole
numbers.
time. Now he doesn't want to talk.
I know.
Where I tap out.
We've talked about a couple numbers. I think our goal here is we'd love to beat 7 million this year. So last year, 5.2 million was raised.
Awesome.
Just last year. So we're looking at 7. I would be happy if we just get over that 5 mark again because that was incredible.
You just manifested. We're manifesting 7. Yeah, putting it out there.
600,000 to 2.5 million to 5.2 million.
It's amazing.
That's the trajectory. So, again,
yeah,
all signs
it's all
point
up to the community, though.
All right, finish this sentence. Philanthropy is
something that everyone should do.
It's whether you know it or not, it is a part of your life living in our area.
Yeah. You two are both clearly passionate about this. What's your personal why to do this work? Because I'm sure there's a lot of things you both can do. Why do you do this?
Because I came from a meeting earlier today about a cemetery association to talk about Mohawk Valley Gives. And on the way back, I get to call somebody to talk about setting up a scholarship for trades programs. So my day is different every day, but it's all about people trying to do good. Yeah. And they've all self-identified that they want to do something. And that's really heartening to see so many people. My days are filled with stories like that. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to come back when people are the ones that are wanting to do these things.
Yeah. I think my why just gets back to manifesting, like we were talking about. I was born and raised in Utica. I've lived in the area my whole life and loved it. Like I've never once thought, I want to move or I want to go somewhere else. Like this is my home. And so to work for the Community Foundation and that does so much for this community and be, leading an initiative like Mohawk Valley Gives is just, that's my why.
Awesome. And if you made it through the last 7 months here without wanting to move, then you will never want to move. Yeah, this is you're a light
so
stamp
true.
when we're recording this. But
Yeah.
That's right.
This has been a really trying.
Weather-wise.
Yes.
Yeah, weather-wise. Everything else is great.
Thank God the people are great. None of us live here anymore.
The
right?
food is great.
There you
Yeah.
go. So we're not going to talk about the W word. We're not going to talk about that.
So the website is givemv.org. Can people go there now and put their name on some sort of email list, or just how do they connect with you so that they get notified and reminders of things coming up?
Yeah. So we don't have that feature on there currently, but if you go to the Community Foundation's website, which is foundationhoc.org, and sign up for our mailing list, you will definitely be included on any Mohawk Valley Gives communications.
So
leading up to
social
the day.
media, now that registration's closed, the team is going to start really working with all the nonprofits to customize their profile pages, start building up their MV Gives kind of rally for support. And that's where the community is going to start seeing it. Where you're not going to be able to avoid MV Gives as the summer rolls on. Signs, commercials.
Yeah, we give out lawn signs to the nonprofits, and they are a hit. Yeah. Like, we ordered, I think, some 600 of them last year, and we went through every single one.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So they love it.
So it's September 19th this year for the first time, Friday, September 19th. Save your pennies because every one of them does matter, and you guys have proven it to us today. So Nick and Kayla, thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much for having
This
us.
is great.